Hello. And today we'll continue with Temptations Ballad. The trip to the Grand Cathedral was a quiet and awkward one. Cole repeatedly side glances towards Artemis as they walked, quietly contemplating his next words. He supposed that if he made Artemis angry, he could just hide behind Sid or something. Cole cleared his throat loudly. So, I know you were super excited to show us around the Grand Cathedral and whatnot, but you understand the main reason why we're here, right? Artemis looked at him strangely. We're going to ask the Knight Commander about the circumstances of the crown delivery mission, are we not? Yeah, but here's the thing. Cole went and preemptively hid behind Sid's large figure. Your Knight Commander was the one who gave you the mission last minute, which then set everything else into motion. That kind of implicates him as being at least a little suspicious. Instantly, Artemis whirled around with a glare of absolute fury. Sparks of angry lightning crackled across her armor. In a look to kill, Cole could have withered into dust before he even hit the ground. How dare you! Sir Grank is the most righteous and kind knight in all of Axia. He's the Knight Commander of the church, for goodness sake. I'm just saying. There's no possible way that he could be connected to any of this. I'm sure you will all be convinced once you meet him. That is more proper than our good knight. She was cut off by a large polar bear bursting through a nearby door and enthusiastically waving to them through a jolly laugh. You're wild. Which one of you youngins managed to humiliate our dear bishop and prelate today? You have my sincerest congratulations. That was the best laugh I've gotten in months. Artemis' jaw dropped in shock. Knight Commander, you mustn't be so blatantly crude. Oh, dear pupil, I'm the Knight Commander of the church. I do what I want. Commander, please behave yourself. Anyways, are these the friends you mentioned in your letter? I bid you all welcome to the Grand Cathedral. The large polar bear bowed politely with a jolly smile. Artemis grinned before swiftly shooting a glare at Cole and Sid, mostly Cole, that clearly says, be nice. Sid shuffled nervously and waved. Hello? Cole, meanwhile, gave the large, handsome bear an appraising look before letting out a low whistle. Well, Artie, you didn't tell me your commander was such a fine grizzled bear. Let me know if you're pent up from all that night business. I might have a holy solution for you, if you know what I mean. Grank's bushy eyebrows shot up so quickly that they almost escaped his head. Ooh. What the hell was that for? Apologies. I did not understand a word of what you said, but I was suddenly overwhelmed with the urge to clobber you. Besides them, Grank broke into a jovial laugh. My, Artemis, your new friend is quite a flatterer. Be wary, Commander. He is a menace to society. Hey, I was just being friendly. Your friendship often comes at a price. Artemis shook her head shamefully and bowed towards Grank. Please forgive his insolence, Knight Commander. Grank waved it off with a good-natured smile. There's nothing to forgive. Who am I to turn down such charming compliments? Cole went up at Grank, impressed. Good to know not all holy knights are uptight killjoys. A pleasure to meet you. Likewise, though I must say. Grank kneeled down and leaned towards Cole with a sly grin. He was a large and imposing man, and certainly very close. Intimately close. Cole could feel the heat radiating off of the bear as the sensation of Grank's warm muzzle brushed against his ear. The commander suddenly whispered to him in a deep, husky voice. I'm afraid you can't handle what this bear has to offer, little man. Once I'm through with you, you'll never walk straight again. Cole's face flustered, and a hot shiver shot up his spine. As quickly as he came, Grank quickly stood back up and laughed jovially as though nothing had happened. Words completely failed him as Cole's jaws hung open in bewilderment. But boss, you alright? What did he whisper to you? Cole continued to stare dumbfounded, gaping like a goldfish. Aubrey grabbed his shoulder and shook him suspiciously. Cole, what happened? Like Commander, what sort of intimidation tactic did you use? I didn't know such thing, dear pupil. If you are so curious, you should ask him yourself. Cole suddenly snapped out of his trance and pointed an accusing finger at Grank. You! This was a trap. Even if I told them the truth, they never fucking believed me. Night Commander Grank smiled innocently. I don't know what you're talking about, young man. Though in the future, I advise you to avoid dissing things you can't take. Cole, what are you two talking about? It is very rude to keep secrets during a conversation. That's something you can ask your friend at a later time. Anyways, I assume you are all here to speak about yesterday's event. Don't change the subject. If there is anything I can do to aid you in the aid you're missing with my dear Aubrey, do not hesitate to ask. I am happy to support you in any way I can. Yes, there are a few things we'd like to clear up, if that's okay with you, sir. Ask me anything you like. Once your friend's wits has returned to him, of course, Cole finally closed his gaping maw and cleared his throat loudly. He absolutely will not allow this old bear to fluster him like this. Focus. Right. We got some questions for you. Alright, where are my manners? I'm Cole Bonebreaker, and this is my lackey and muscle Sid. And obviously you already know Ornament, chosen one goody two-shoes, hyperventilating mess. Hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. Grank's eyebrow perked up with interest. Bonebreaker, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I've had many encounters with your father in the past, young Cole. You have? During his reign of terror, where Merrill Bonebreaker and his band of merry gay men pillaged the nobility of their riches, I was tasked with stopping them. Alas, I never succeeded in capturing him. I'm glad for my failure. However, your father is a good man with admirable intentions and questionable methods. Cole puffed out his chest with pride. Of course, you couldn't even touch Papa. His strength as a mercenary is even greater than the legends. Grank sighed, eyes filled with nostalgia. I admit, the real challenge was fending off his partner, Malus. That man's a fiend, dancing in and out of the saddles like a ghost, raining arrows and entangling my shoulders in the most complex trap wires. That battle was already lost before we could even reach your father. Those two make a deadly duo. Cole grumbled. Now you're just giving him too much credit. Papa did most of the heavy lifting on the front lines. Grank chuckled quietly. With such legends raising you, I suppose we can expect great things from you in the future, Cole Bonebreaker. Yeah, I suppose you can. Grank turned towards Sid with a kind smile. Are you, young man? Where do you hail from? I'm not from some legendary mercenary family or some chosen hero. I'm just some commoner Ornament ran into yesterday, but I'm happy to help out. A proud laugh escaped Grank as he thumped Sid on the back. Humble beginnings. I too began from a humble start. Far more than you, I dare say. Hold your head up high, boy. There's no shame in your origin, only pride. I have no doubt that you have much to offer. Really? You think so? If I can make it this far, so can you, son. Cole fell silent and peered at the old bear Curiously, the highest ranking Knight Commander came from a humble start. It wasn't an impossible idea. The church was quite fond of such feel-good success stories. But reality, on the other hand, Cole's eyes narrowed. Something wasn't adding up. We have some questions about that delivery mission you gave Artemis yesterday. Why did you suddenly hand it off to her? She's literally the most unreliable delivery person you could have possibly chosen. Artemis grumbled and elbowed his side sharply. Rude. Hey, I was just telling it like it is. While honesty is a virtue, I believe it should be applied constructively. Cole brought his sore ribs with a pout. What happened to you? You were so meek and polite yesterday. Upon meeting you, I have since discovered that patience is a limited resource. Cole turned towards Grank with his exasperation. You gave the very important crown to this? Grank chuckled. I simply wanted to give dear Artemis an excuse to go out and stretch her legs. A young lady shouldn't be cooped up in a dusty cathedral for her whole life. He sighed ruefully. It was supposed to be a simple task. I never imagined things would get so serious. Cole scratched his chin and stared at Grank suspiciously. Is that the entire reason? The old bear's smile faltered before returning with a mischievous chuckle. I meant that I partially did it out of spite. Yesterday morning, I ran into our dear bishop giving Artemis another one of her harsh lectures. That never sat well with me. Then it dawned on me I could kill two birds with one stone. Artemis could take on this simple delivery job, and I could deeply annoy the bishop in one fell swoop. That Knight Commander, you should really act more amiable around Her Excellency. Grank raised his hand dismissively. She knows I don't like her. There's no point pretending otherwise. Artemis sighed and stared down at her feet. Just once, I wish everyone here could get along. Should your mother decide to treat you with dignity, I shall extend the same kindness to her. Alas, that day has yet to come. Cole glanced at Artemis with concern. He hadn't noticed since yesterday she had a habit of gnawing at the thumb of her glove when she was especially anxious. It's probably best that they change the subject. So he decided to give the delivery order to Artemis last minute on a whim. Nobody else knew about it. Grank scratched his chin thoughtfully. Well, I received the notice of this mission the day before from the prince. His Highness mentioned offhand that he had always wanted to meet the greatest chosen, so that might have played a part in my decision. Besides that, nothing else comes to mind. I see. Sorry, could you excuse me for a moment? Cole parted himself from everyone and pretended to adjust his pants loincloth in a corner. As soon as he was at a discreet distance, he nudged his pockets urgently. Hey, Nudie, you there? The bald python poked his head out and immediately grimaced. Yeah, this place smells disgusting. The stench of celestial magic is everywhere. How can you stand it? Yeah, I think I'm going to vomit. Stay with me, you little shit. Demons are pretty sensitive to magic, yeah? Can you sense if that Knight Commander has been manipulated in any way? Malus hissed indignantly. Why in the world would I ever help a puny mortal like you? I'll get us another helping of Miss Strikewood's cheesy bread if you help out. Deal. Cole blinked. The demon agreed much faster than he expected. Malus flipped out his tongue, and Grank in the distance, who was chatting merrily with Artemis, said, he flinched again loudly. Oh, utterly vile. He stinks of celestial magic almost as much as your shiny friend with anxiety. Come on, give me something useful. The snake shook his head and focused again. His eyes suddenly flashed a deep red. The mind link between the two of them held strong. Cole felt his own eyes water and ache with the strain of arcane magic. What the hell are you doing? Ghostly gaze. The snake peered towards Grank around the room with glowing red eyes. Cole gulped and shifted his position in an attempt to hide the dim scarlet light. Oh my. Where is it? What do you see? Look at the size of that thing. This man's packing. Do focus. I don't want to hear that coming from you of all people. Malus observed further. There are only slight traces, but there seem to be leftover fragments of some sort of spell. Not very strong. Suggestion? It's like a weaker version of your charm person spell. However, it is much more discreet. It is strange, though. Paladins are supposed to be resistant to mind control. Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully. There's a high chance the prince cast this suggestive spell on Grank to get him to pass the delivery on to Ornamy. But why, though? Did he want his crown to get stolen? Cole peered at his demon companion. What are you demon folk planning? Malus rolled his neck in a snake equivalent of a shrug. I'll be honest with you, puny mortal. I have no idea. I just agreed to all this because I wanted to travel to the material plane. All my siblings have come here before. It's high time I get the opportunity as well. The general gist of the deal with all summoner was to just make contact with mortals and collect their negative emotions. These negative emotions are then used as fuel for our infernal strength. And the crown ended up in a legal trading ring where the rubies were scattered among various shady people who are rife with negative emotions. Things are slowly starting to make sense. Yeah, I got a question. Why does the prince wear a crown that looks straight out of an evil fairy tale? That can't be good for his reputation. Grank shrugged. I didn't design the darn thing. The crown was ordered by King Roderick to be created by one of his loyal arcane researchers back when our dear king was still alive. I hear that the crown has some special magical properties, but I am unsure of the specifics. Couldn't the king ask for a more friendly design? Dark, pointy, and mysterious doesn't exactly do him any favors. Someone could have at least told him it was a bad idea. Grank gave Cole a pointed look. Ah, yes. Your Majesty, do you accept constructive criticism? Your taste in fast as shit. Okay, point taken. What can you tell us about the prince? I don't think I've ever seen the guy before. Grank chuckled, but his smile did not reach his eyes. The prince is a timid and shy young man who is around your age, I believe. I serve as his personal protector from time to time. A rather unfortunate necessity considering his unorthodox origins. What do you mean? King Roderick and Queen Tabitha were an infamously barren couple. Throughout their reign, they failed again and again to conceive a child of their own. Many grew worried about how the line's successor would be handled when the time comes. Then a few years ago, suddenly out of the blue, His Majesty introduced Prince Cassius to the world as their only son. Many people question his legitimacy, but the family resemblance is undeniable. King Roderick was quick to silence anyone who questioned the prince's status. I think I remember this announcement. There was a lot of gossip and rumors surrounding this whole thing. A prince that just showed up out of nowhere, Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully. If I may ask, How did the king and queen die? I don't think I've heard any public details about it. Well, as you know, Queen Tabitha has always been very sickly throughout her life. The king toiled day and night to find a cure for her condition and sent countless researchers and healers on the task. The only reason she had survived so long was due to King Wadsworth's arcane prowess supporting her. Alas, it was not enough. The queen passed away from her sickness around a week ago. King Wadsworth was beside himself with grief. None of the servants would coax His Majesty to eat or rest. He died shortly from exhaustion and grief a few days later. That's horrible. They're not even that old. May they rest peacefully in the Creator's embrace. How did the prince take all this? Oh, the poor boy was a nervous wreck. He had always been an anxious man before, but the passing of both his parents did a number on his nerves. One could scarcely walk in his general direction without him jumping in a fright. As the conversation dragged on, Grank caught sight of Cole's suspicious glances. An oddly satisfied smile spread across his face. The polar bear turned towards Artemy. Artemy, why don't you show your new friend around the cathedral? I'd like a word in private with your adventuring party leader, if you don't mind. Huh? Oh, that's an excellent idea. Come, Sir Sid, the cathedral has the most stunning courtyard. Hey, way up. Artemy eagerly dragged a surprised Sid outside without a second thought. Grank waited patiently for the two to move out of earshot before turning towards Cole. What's this all about? You have been staring at me with such perceptive eyes, young man. I figured there was something you wanted to discuss. Cole peered at the Knight Commander strangely. Yeah, something's been bothering me. Her name is Grank Stormborn. That sounds awfully. The smile on the bear's face grew with an amused glint. Go on. Cole swallowed down his nervousness. That doesn't sound like a name a high-born knight commander would have. Usually nobles would name their kids something a little more elegant. No offense, sir. None taken. And Stormborn, that's more of a given title than an actual surname. Grank let out a jovial bark. A music coming from the guy named Bonebreaker. The entire guild's like 99% sure that Papa renamed himself that at some point. If you got a problem with our name, you can direct your complaints at Papa. Cole cleared his throat loudly. Anyway, this all points to you starting off as a lowborn, but somehow worked yourself up to the position of Knight Commander and even somehow earned yourself a title. Forgive me for my rudeness, but that doesn't sound very in character for this church. So what's your whole deal? You're no ordinary Knight Commander. Grank laughed. My, what a sharp mind you have. Artemy has chosen her friends well. You are correct in all your observations. Before my time in the church, I had no surname because in my youth I was just another low-born street urchin among many in this apathetic city. An urchin who grew up to be a petty criminal, and from petty criminal to a true menace to society. Grank watched Cole's shock with amusement. All the church does its best to hide this fact about their great Knight Commander, but I have no shame in it. I did what I must in order to survive. The church didn't see it that way, as you might expect. Eventually the city guards captured me and deemed me unworthy to live among my fellow men. Grank's jolly, perpetual smile faded a little. But then a miracle happened. On the day of my execution, where I was to be hanged, I was suddenly blessed by the Creator's holy flames. Instead of dying on that rope, golden flames enveloped my body and freed me. All my wounds were healed, all my pains undone. And ever since that day, I have been blessed with a great celestial power. He raised an armored hand to demonstrate. Golden fire suddenly flustered across his palm with an abnormally bright glow for a flame of its size. Cole watched this display of celestial magic with fascination. It felt similar to Artemis' display of magic from yesterday, but completely different at the same time. Great flames danced digitally in the air with a warm, welcoming glow, like a cozy hearth in the winter. It gave Cole a protective sensation as though someone was wrapping him up in a big, fluffy sweater. Artemis' magic, on the other hand, felt angrier, sharper, more intense, like the enraged screams of lightning that blared across a stormy sky. It was extraordinarily how the same breed of celestial power could take such different forms. This magic is from the Creator's blessing. Grank nodded. There was a solemn reverence in his eyes. Indeed. Perhaps not powerful enough to be considered the Creator's chosen, but undeniably received her blessings nonetheless. The discovery that a criminal was protected by the Creator sent the clerics of the church scrambling for an explanation. Some insisted that I should be hanged again, while others considered this a form of divine intervention. After a lot of squabbling, the church deemed that the Creator had a plan for me and worked to reform me into a holy knight under their name. It took countless lectures and no small number of beatings, but they managed to get their way. The knight sighed with a nostalgic smile, and with that, the petty criminal Grank was straightened out into the respectable holy knight, Grank Stormborn. Apparently, I am fairly good at what I do. After years of service, I climbed the ranks within the church and became an esteemed knight commander, and also the greatest stain upon the church's history of blessed knights. Cole sat quietly throughout Grank's tale, his mind wheeling. Why do you tell me all this? Grank shrugged nonchalantly. Because you ask. What? You're open to sharing everything just like that? Like I said, I am not ashamed of my origins. I have no attempts to hide myself. My fellow churchgoers made an attempt to hush this information from the public. However, does Artemis know? Grank's shoulders suddenly stiffened. She does not. Why? Unlike you, she simply never asked. I meant the way she looks upon me with such undying faith, as though I were a man who could do no wrong. It warms my soul. I dread a day where I must disappoint her with reality. Perhaps a friend like you could help lessen the blow. The knight commander let out a deep sigh and kneeled down to stare at Cole at eye level. Under all that jolly smiling and cheer, there was an exhausted air to this old bear. Called the bonebreaker. Might this old bear ask you for a favor? Uh-huh. You're the leader of Artemis' little adventuring party, or you're not. Ask that you keep an eye out for her and support her with all your might should she ever need it. Do it for this old bear, won't you? Grank's gaze drifted off. One day she will venture into situations One day she will venture to situations that I can longer aid her in. No longer aid her in. I will have a greater peace of mind knowing that she has good friends looking out for her. Why are you asking me all this? You are the son of the cunning hammers of the Bonebreaker Mercenary Guild. That much is clear from your short wit. If you are even half the man your father is, I know I can trust you with this task. Cole's stomach churned uncomfortably. Well, that's new. I can promise you, but I'm quite a liar, so I'm not sure how much peace of mind that'll give you. I'm well versed with the follies of the young. Even an empty promise is enough to instill an idea in your mind. Great smart. You may act tough, but guilt is one hell of a motivator. Cole scowled and crossed his arms defiantly. We'll see about that. Before I go, I got one last question. Ask my young man. Cole paused hesitantly. Do you really believe you were blessed with the Creator? Grank shrugged. Perhaps. Perhaps this was all a freak accident, or maybe the Creator has a very sick sense of humor. I admit I wasn't always happy about my place in life, but Grank glanced across the cathedral at Artemis chatting excitedly with Sid. His face softened. Sometimes there are things worth living for. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this real quick. So it's a new scene here. Basically, Sid and Cole have an intimate time with each other somehow. I mean, it seemed like Sid was not comfortable with it, but somehow he did let Cole have an intimate time with him, and his manhood was out. And when they didn't really have sex, I mean, it was kind of intimate. You made basically Cole was sitting on Sid, and there's some other stuff, but there was no like intercourse in that scene. So that's basically all that happened in the supply closet. So I'm not gonna play this. So we'll do these two here. The rambling sound of drunk mercenaries slowly faded away as Cole led his new teammates down a quiet hallway. Technically, Hammers hadn't finished their tour of the guild yet before the sparring room interruption, so here Cole was to pick up the slack. Said Ornaby should really appreciate his thoughtfulness. Well, technically, you didn't do anything useful whatsoever this afternoon. Your fathers did all the hard work of training and debriefing. Ah. Cole bopped the small snake on the head and grimaced as a similar slap sensation mirrored across his own head. It appears the mind-leaking spell the demon had cast over him was very persistent. All right, Anil. You're living under my roof and pockets now. You're gonna need to learn to stay on my good side. The snake hissed indignantly. You dare threaten me, puny mortal? As far as I could see, you have no good side. His beady red eyes narrowed slightly, and sense of paranoia filled the air. In fact, you know this as well, don't you? I sense it through our connection. Deep inside your subconscious, you know there is a distinct lack of worth in your existence. Malus laughed mockingly. What a wonderful father you have. And despite your assistance, otherwise, Hammers has done a wonderful job raising you as well. How disappointing that their efforts were wasted on a man who is nothing but a leech on his friends and family. Ugh. Cole sighed. Listen, I know you're trying to pull some demony mind games, but it's really hard to take you seriously when you're a tiny wriggling snake. Unhand me, puny mortal. Alas, even this response is just a feeble attempt to hide your true feelings. Ah, go on, I can do this all day. The snake flailed his head wildly in Cole's grip. Our senses are linked. You should be feeling this strangling sensation too. How you so unfazed? Cole smirked. A dabble in erotic asphyxiation here and there is nothing to me. Versus my one bargaining chip. Someone behind them loudly cleared their throat. Cole glanced back to see Armin and Sid standing by awkwardly watched them. I hate to interrupt an intimate moment between master and familiar, but didn't you say you were going to show us the rest of the guild? Oh, right, the tour. I did say that, didn't I? Cole stuffed the screaming noodle back into his pocket before waving his hands theoretically. Allow me to show you my favorite room in the Bumburger Mercenary Guild besides the supply closets. Ta-da! Cole swung open an uncharacteristically handsome set of doors to reveal a large, cozy library. Shelves lined the walls and books filled every corner of the room. Clean chairs and piles of books lay scattered across the room as though they were used frequently. Sid's jaws dropped. This place has a library? A frightened pitch colored his voice. Cole frowned. What a strange reaction. In contrast to the light smile spread across Orderby's face as he rushed into the room. Amazing, this library is almost as big as the Grand Cathedral's collection. Cole puffed up his chest proudly. Believe it or not, Papa's actually a massive book nerd. He used to read storybooks and legends to me for hours here when I was younger. Despite embracing that muscled barbarian aesthetic, Papa values intelligence in the men he works with. He paused and scowled, which is a mystery why he ended up with Hammers. Barnaby studied the library's selection of books while Sid lingered back timidly. What a wide variety of subjects. I've already exhausted all the reading material from the cathedral, but there are so many more options here. Battle strategy, adventuring tales, tax evasion techniques. Wait a minute. Barnaby squinted at a nearby hard cover suspiciously as Cole hastily snapped his fingers. The title read Tax Filing Basics. I swear that title was different just a moment ago. Cole coughed loudly. Yeah, you're probably just still tired from the sparring match and whatnot. Exhaustion can make you see things. I suppose you're right. Barnaby tore her gaze from Tax Evasion 101 and towards the rest of the library with excitement. Would it be alright if I continue perusing your book selects on my own? I am excited to see what kinds of stories I can find here. Cole shrugged. Sir, go wild. Stay out of the cells in the back corner, though. You're not really fit to read them. Barnaby glanced at the area Cole gestured towards. A small sign was stuck on the shelf that read for adults only. She let out an indignant huff. Why do you think so little of me, Cole? I'm an adult. Clearly I should be allowed to read this material. Cole shrugged. All right, sir. Go for it, Naughty. Well, we see he's been really confident and really, snappy towards Cole lately. I mean, we see her frowning more than early on in the story. So, guess some of that magic worked on her. Seems like Cole gave that kind of magic for her to be more confident, so it's working on her. She's not really tolerating Cole's mess like she did early on, so. He watched Barnaby nod smugly before disappearing to the back of the library. A snicker escaped his throat. Oh, little Artie's gonna come back a changed woman. What kind of smart novel do you think she's gonna pick up? Cole blinked. He glanced behind him and caught sight of Sid lingering by the library entrance timidly. Dude, why are you acting so weird? This is a library, not a torture chamber. I'm not acting weird. Libraries just aren't my kind of thing. The bachelor hung his head low as he fidgeted with his shirt. Not sure how Ma was gonna take that. I didn't know he was a bookish kind of guy. Cole snorted and gave Sid an encouraging pat on the shoulder or hip. He could barely reach half his height. Relax, man. Papa's a chill guy. He's pretty happy to have you on board. A worried crest formed across Sid's brow as he continued staring down at his feet. I don't know. I didn't really impress him during our sparring match like Barnaby did. It didn't make much of an impression at all. And Morrow said that the Bone Breakers only accept the best, right? But what if I don't live up to the standards? Panic slowly shows across Sid's face as he looked up at Cole pleadingly. And now you're telling me Morrow's a big book guy too? What if he finds out? Cole waved his hand dismissively. I'm just gonna stop here for now. So, we gotta see Commander Grank and everybody else meet, Cole and Sid doing the introductions, and we know that Commander Grank was once a commoner. You know that kid that tried to steal the crown early on? Well, he was very similar to that kid. He was also a street urchin and stole to survive. And then he got executed. Well, not almost executed. He almost got executed, but apparently the creator decided to spare him. And the church figured that out. So they decided to make him a member of the force the royal force that protects the city. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, he rose up to ranks. He's now the Knight Commander. So his name, I think his last name was Stormborn. I think because Cole caught on the fact that that name is something that nobles usually don't give their children. So he must have been a commoner, and Cole's suspicions were correct because Grank told him that he was a commoner. He rose his way through the ranks to become a Knight Commander. So and apparently he didn't tell Artemis about his past. So because he really looks up to him, and he really thinks of him as this noble person, and he'll have to tell her eventually about his past. And it looks like the snake Malus has decided to take on the role of Val and admonish Cole for the way he is as a person. So Malus scolded him for the way he treats Hamas, and that he has good fathers, well, great fathers anyway, great fathers, and he's very ungrateful, and he always talk nasty about Hamas, and that he's nowhere near the type of person that his father is, moral, which in my opinion is true. I mean, he's still got a whole lot of catching up to do. He wants to be like his father and Hamas, and he loves to take a dig at Hamas at every opportunity he has. When others praise Hamas, like when the commander praised Hamas for his intelligence and stealth, and Cole just trashed Hamas. I mean, because Hamas told him maybe he shouldn't. I mean, way back at the beginning of the story, when Cole got hurt during a training session, the doctors told him maybe it would be best he chose a different profession, and Hamas agreed with the doctor and told Cole that he should find a profession. That's where he got really cold with Hamas, and he just never really treated him kindly from that point on. So Cole's been having a grudge on Hamas for all these years, simply because of that. Plus, he thinks that Hamas is trying to take his role as the heir to the Bonebreaker, as a Bonebreaker guild. Like, I'm having trouble saying Bonebreaker. Anyway, Cole thinks Hamas is trying to take the Bonebreaker guild from him, so that he could be the heir to the bone breaker guilt instead of Cole. So that's what Cole really thinks, that Hammer's trying to take the guilt from him. Once his father, either retires or seizes control of it. So anyway, so we'll continue with Temptations Ballad next time. I was going to continue further, but I just decided I wasn't ready to move, kind of a little tired, so I decided to stop here for today. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.